Welcome to the Scooty Pippin and MJ show, the Queensland preview on Group 1 Stradbroke and JJ Atkins weekend. It is very exciting here. We're a couple of days away from the Stratosphere Punters Club also, and we're flying MJ down on a private COVID-free plane into Melbourne Thursday morning. What time are you going to arrive in the Big Smoke, Curls?
My driver is picking me up at 11:40 a.m. So, I touchdown about 11:30, and then the great man is picking me up. So, Roscoe is going to pick me up, and then I roll into the city. I'm pretty excited. I've been pretty busy, to be honest, like getting stuck into the form, and particularly these early prices for Eagle Farm and trying to get all that done today. I haven't really taken much time to think about it, but yeah, really, really excited now. It's getting close.
And what about Lisa giving you the leave card for a couple of days away from the kids?
Yeah, big effort from her. Well, look, she's got to give the people what they want. I need to get down there, and I need to back winners and provide some entertainment. That's what it's all about this weekend.
Good stuff. All right, which race you want to do first, the Atkins or the Stratty? Back the front or front?
We'll go the Atkins first. I think the Stratty's a bit better. Take more time.
All right. Cool. Eagle Farm track. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. They look to be getting off the fence, especially late. Good 4, not much rain around. How do you think the track will play with the rail at 3 metres?
Yeah, I sort of anticipate pretty similar to what we saw a fortnight ago. I'll be looking forward to seeing some data from the BRC regarding irrigation, etc. Remember, there was a bit of conjecture last time we raced at Eagle Farm where the irrigation was a lot less than what we became accustomed to racing on that track. Noticed a tweet during the week from one of the travelling foremen for Godolphin, who galloped Special K, and I might have galloped trekking actually, and said that there was no grass, barely grass cover, and very firm under hoof. And then I noticed that he followed up with a comment saying that they're mowing the track as well. So I think we're going to see pretty similar to last time we raced there. Firm underfoot, getting to the centre of the track, and potentially advantage to the horses that get there first.
It makes it tricky because, a lot of these horses are coming off. Well, there's a lot of horses in both races that are coming off heavy and slow tracks. So it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out if we're going to race on a hard and fast deck as you'd think. What did you have in the speed map on speed map here? Yeah,
I don't know that. Look, Rothfire leading. I thought it was like that's its racing pattern. It's got very good gate speed too. Like it does ping the lids, and he's quick early. So they'll have to roll forward. I've got no doubt. I've just got some fly in the ointment. Runners, I suppose, is unsure of what they do. Tony Goblin's got 2 horses in the race. One looks like a legitimate chance in Isotope, and one who races on speed and doesn't look a legitimate chance to me is Star Rossa.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to weigh up the possibility that Star Rossa's sent forward to bowl along potentially. So small little idiosyncrasies like that where you've got multiple runners from the same stable. So I doubt that Rothfire will be able to lead and just amble along at his own speed, but I definitely map him forward. Then you've got horses like Wild Ruler who could possibly follow it across, drawn directly outside him. What do they do with Wisdom of Water? He's a sort of hard-going horse. Where does he lob if he doesn't get cover early and he's exposed? He's a big chance to get over racing and get up on speed. So, and being a Queensland race, there's got to be 1 or 2 others that just push forward for the hell of it because it's a Group 1, don't they? I think that's the other potential sticky part.
He looks like a tough going horse, the Wisdom of Water. Definitely think he's a big problem, or he could just bust this race open. He's a real unknown sort of quantity, and whether he can settle. He's had those 2 1,200-metre runs, but what does he do now? Even he could be the leader up outside Rothfire as well.
Yeah.
For me, the way that sort of sets up for me, it sort of makes me think that Makura is going to get a really good run from barrier 3 in behind. A couple of horses are going to push over from wider gates, and he gets a charm run, sort of 2 or 3 back the fence or 1 off the fence. And I just really like the way he sort of hit the line the last couple of starts. But what do you think about 1,100 to 1,400? Obviously, the race isn't a 1,600-metre race like previous years, and it's a little bit different now with a couple of horses that may or may not have come here. But he looks like a real up-and-coming horse, Makura. But, yeah, there's got to be an asterisk around 1,100 to 1,400, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a query. I'll tell you what does stand out about this horse. He chases a line, this horse. He's, I should say, does chase a line and does pin its ears back and have a dig. And I think that's important. It's going to get a bunny here for sure. She's been really good, obviously. Wins visually looked good as well. Perfect draw. Look, I suppose there's always that unknown of stepping up in trip. Comes out of the right stable. It's got the right, it's got the right gate. It's got the right map. It looks like only the 1,400, the test of the 1,400. It's danger probably. And whether you think there's enough meat on the bone at the price to sort of take the risk is the other thing. It definitely maps well. But it's not the only horse coming off those, unknown at 14. There's not many horses in this field that have had that have got a figure at the distance. So, but all the upside in the world's there, isn't it? Like you see that it's first when it was fresh on the Kenzo that day. Like it showed really good speed over 1,000 and could have easily pushed forward and went on with it. And then the next start, it takes a sit and just attacks the line. So versatile. It's got some high speed.
Yeah, and then speaking of a horse that's as likely to run the trip out, we did agree off camera on a horse, not an option. It was a massive forgive run last start at 1,600 metres in the Champagne. It's got Michael Carl, which should be suited. Hopefully, it doesn't get too far back. Barrier 3.
Gates and not
Sorry.
I think, this horse off the sort of 7-week break, there will definitely be one that's going to benefit from a hot speed up front. If you go have a look at his replay, he got sort of snagged in. Well, they tried to snag him back from a wide draw, and then he sort of got a bit of a check, and he basically had no hope. And then coming into the home straight, it was sort of a non-event for the horse. And now he comes here, Blinker's first time. Looks a real surprise packet.
Yeah, don't disagree. Look, I think just going right back through his runs, I think he can settle closer. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he found himself on the back of Makura.
Yep.
He just didn't get the opportunity to settle forward in those 2 Sydney runs from the wide draw. I've got no knock on the trials. The last trial was a heavy track trial. I thought the first one was probably better to my eye. But look, it's like I said, it's got something. I thought it was like, I'm not sure what your note was on the last start. I had it untested in that Group 1 1,600 behind King's Legacy, out the back, no real clear galloping room in the straight. Really, it was just a complete forgive, I thought. And like I said, I've mapped this horse getting the back of Makura, and I don't have that 1,400 metre query at all with this horse. I think the 1,400's suitable, and I don't see any negative with the headgear going on either. So,
yeah, and I would have thought, like, you have a look at the dates of the trials. It looks a really deliberate, deliberate ploy. Like a trial last Friday on the 29th. And then even just sort of getting that work into it. Like it looks to me that 1,400 metres first up off sort of a residual fitness from a Sydney campaign. The horse is, a complete forgive from its last start. I still like the way it sort of picked up in the home straight too, again. So I think your notes are absolutely spot on. I think this horse will be fit enough, and the conditions of the race, it just might be the perfect storm for him with Rothfire up front, Wisdom of Water, terrorising them, Wild Ruler. There's all this speed, and if there is a chink in Makura's armour, I get the impression that this horse is going to run out a really strong 1,400 metres if he can run on and not get too far back. So, yeah, as everyone's probably seen on Twitter by now, via the Stratosphere Punters Club, us versus Top Sport on Saturday, Curls and I have opened the shoulders there, and we've backed not an option to win 100,000 just to try and put a bit of pressure on Tristan Merlihan and the team up on the Goldie. So it's game on already, isn't it? How good's that? Wednesday Arvo bets.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon to win 100.
Thanks, good.
Yeah, look, obviously when we're betting this far out, I don't have an issue betting this far out on a Group 1 day. It's not as if that the trainer's going to have a change of heart and tell his jockey to stick it and not try. We'll wait for next week. Everyone's trying grand finals for most of these horses. The map's good. King's Legacy, the King Legacy form, certainly stacks up anywhere, like in any 2-year-old race in Australia that we've seen. So I know what got beat a fair margin last time, but complete forgive. It's just the map, the price. It's the right bet to have on a Wednesday. Going into a Group 1 on the Saturday. So I think he'll start substantially shorter than that. And we'll just see how the day plays out. We've got a little bit up our sleeve. We haven't had to let all the cats out of the bag too early. We only had to outlay we have 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, you got another one coming up soon. So
we've had 5,000 to win 100. So it's you just got to keep Tristan on his toes. He doesn't know whether this is a curveball or whether this is the bet, or whether we're going to bet again at $15 tomorrow. So we'll let Tristan make his own one up there, but we're coming for you.
Exactly. I love the battle's just so much fun.
It is good.
I think that gets lost in a lot of the traditional media. Like, it's just so much fun, and it probably used to happen on the racetracks. And I guess now that we've sort of got the Little Birdie podcast up and rolling, we can sort of bring back the fun. So can't wait to get Tristan on the live stream, and can't wait for a couple of surprise guests and to see what else that we do.
I just really hope that we've got Tristan on the ropes before he gets on the live stream. I don't want to get him on the live stream too early if he's going any good either. Like, let's get him on the back foot, punch a few winners home early at Yeppoon or the Gold Coast or somewhere in a couple of maidens at Casterton or something, and get him on the ropes, and then get him on and see how he handles the pressure.
Yeah, I think.
And look, it is like you say, it is a good thing that Top Sport, the way they've got involved, because in the current wagering environment, any punter that wins is frowned upon from all the other bookies, and they cut you off and whatever else. And here we are, Tristan prepared to take a bet for us to win 100 on a Wednesday. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's good going, isn't it? Like, you got Betfair, Top Sport, and thank God for the 9 o'clock bet limits, because if they had their way, a lot of the operators wouldn't bet you at all. So. Sure. Absolutely lost without Betfair and Top Sport. So it's commendable that they both put the limits up that they do, and give you an opportunity to sort of back and trade and work your positions. And that's what we're trying to do with this bet. We think it's going to be shortening, not an option. And then we don't have to make all our decisions yet. And hopefully in the last 5 minutes we've got a little bit more clarity about how the track's going to play as well. Let's push on to the Stradbroke. Pisser of a race. This every year. I guess, the whole day is about the Stradbroke. The last, 4 years, there's just been some classic encounters under the Louvre and Blackheart Bart. I remember impending quite well. Sam Lane, after its sort of breakout Goodwood win and the feats that it sort of went on to do. And then you got like Trekking last year and Tyzone. Tyzone sort of sets up well in this race again this year. But let's start at the speed map. Let's have a bit of a chat about that. And we can we'll go through a couple of the key chances.
Look, I thought the obvious ones trying to get a position somewhere near the speed, I suppose, would be Bam's on Fire, Deep Image, Winner Bride. Sort of the three that I anticipated with the most urgency to get forward. Winner Bride led in the Victory last time and just overdid it in front. I think we were pretty keen on it. I think we had something on it. We were keen in the preview anyway. Just gave it a dig to get it up on speed and then just over raced. Did its chances no good there at all. So, Bam's on Fire, Winter Bride and Deep Image were the first three that sort of come to mind. And then, obviously there's some...
Dawn Passage from barrier 23. What's it do? Like typical Gaze lead, is it going to be like a game of cat and mouse from barrier 23 for James Innes, or do you think it takes a sit? It's on the backup. Like it's a real funny one because it's a horse to my eye that looks like it needs to be off and going or revved up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, if it was me, well, sort of how I'd want the horse ridden, whether it gets this or not, I don't know. But obviously with Deep Image and Winter Bride, they're drawn wide, so they're charging across. I would expect that they would follow that speed across. Follow the speed across, and then obviously you right hand down, trying to get a spot with cover. A lot depends on what happens with Bam's on Fire here, with Tegan on from gate one. Has been used up at from the start and raced very well in some decent Melbourne races when it's just been able to bowl along in front. It could be a case that it begins well, holds the front, and then you've got these horses out wide trying to find a position. Horses like Nick and Over and Dawn Passage, if they do commit to go forward, could very well end up with some, three wide with cover behind horses like Winter Bride and Deep Image who couldn't get across Bam's on Fire. And then all of a sudden you're sort of tracking into the race, and you're getting to the right part of the track. So, a lot depends on what happens with Bam's Fire. I think the horse is going super Bam's Fire, and it's got no weight and it's got a great gate where they can hand up if they like. The leaders are still going to come 5 and 6 wide on the corner to try and get to that part of the track, and Tegan only has to follow them out there. I'm not as concerned with the barrier draws for horses like Dawn Passage and Nick and Over to a degree, Tie Zone as well. I don't know how far back they'll be if they decide to go forward. If they decide to go back, it could be race over. Just seeing how hard it was the other day at Eagle Farms to sort of sit back last and then think you can just get to the outside, use the big spacious track and get over the top. It just wasn't happening. You had to be somewhere, you had to be in a forward position and momentum from the 500 or from the 600 probably. So tricky. Mark, what did you sort of come up with there? Are you similar?
Yeah, I loved your angle with Bam's on Fire. If you go through her figures stack up, and then looking at her last start, I think they just Jake Torok, or however you pronounce his name, I think he pulled the wrong rein, and whether it was instructional, I'm not sure, or maybe she just didn't bounce as cleanly as she usually does. But I thought they just made an error from riding it too far back. She was in the last sort of handful of horses where this horse's pattern is clearly on speed. It's a horse that can absorb a lot of pressure and sort of consider that high cruising speed and then give a good kick off it as well. And looking at the tape, I didn't really like it. I didn't think the horse liked being inside horses as much. So if it's got a little bit more clear air or up out in front, I think it's going to take a lot of running down, back down to 51 kilos. Tegan's a notable front running rider. Your man Kyron Maher and Dave Eustace, these guys know what they're doing. Yeah, Syrian. So I think it goes okay on good track. Doesn't mind a little bit of jar out, but its performance figures on good threes are fine, and especially tracks like Caulfield and stuff that can get pretty dry and fast and that sort of similar style. If we think the track's going to play a little bit that way, I'm more than happy. We've had 4,000 at $26 for the Stratosphere early. Definitely a horse that I can see other punters coming into and forgiving its last start. And yeah, the figure, it's even got form up to 1,600 metres, and albeit in sort of mare's grade, but it's going to be strong at the end of 1,400. It's going to be fresh. I've got a lot of time for it, and I'm surprised that $26 was put up in early markets, and I can see it getting hammered really by a lot of professionals, and some of the syndicates might find it.
I just can't. Oh, look, I really can't knock that. That profile around that 1600 metre as well. Like I know it's Group 3 grade fillies and mares. This is not a classic Group 1 by any stretch, and just the fact that it's going to be on speed with no weight, and it's going to be there for a long way. And like you said, it's a horse that just on its figures that it should be pretty well found in the market as well as we get closer to jump time. So once again, we've outlaid not a lot of money for a 6-figure collect. So may not well.
I think
yeah,
it's a great starting position for the book, and conversely for Tristan, it's an awful way to start his book, and all of a sudden they're going to have to start pushing out prices. Like, I'm petrified of a horse like Trekking, who I think's in great form. 58 kilos. The profile of this race says that if you look at punting form and their feature race reports, 58 kilos is a really high weight in the Stradbroke. There's some races that you can carry high weights to win, but the feature race reports at punting form, generally, the pattern there is spot on. Blackheart Bark got beat, and he's the only horse with sort of like 58 kilos in the last sort of 4 years that has got anywhere near like the top 3. He was tough as, like, he was a tough horse. So
multiple Group 1 winner too, Blackheart Bark. Like he's done it at in Melbourne at Group 1 level. Whether Trekking's as good a horse as him, obviously it's all relevant to the field you're racing against, but it's got a bit against it. Trekking.
100%. Kementari can't have it. Nicanova was huge.
Oh, but it was a good run the other day, Kementari. I thought it found the liner right after being a bit tardy away. Dad said, I'll cop it on the chin, fair and square, if it wins, because I've given it completely none. I said this last time, I'm saying it again. Should be $121. Win only mark.
The winkers off for a horse like Kementari is just an absolute act of desperation, isn't it? We don't know what to do. If we take the winkers off, maybe that'll help. It's very comical. I thought Nicanova was a great run last start.
Huge.
I think Tie Zone is the horse out of the Victory Stakes, though. I'm nervous it's going to get too far back, but I think it's a big chance.
It's so tactical. So tactical for that horse.
It was huge through the line, though. I loved the way it finished.
I had Tie Zone and ahead of Nicanova, but those two probably the only two out of that race.
Let's talk about the other thing that we agree on is, if the winners don't come from, I guess, Bam's on Fire or Tie Zone, we do agree that the 3-year-olds look very suited.
Yeah.
In saddlecloth.
Have you penned Victorum, just so I can get it on record?
Well, I sort of made half a case for it last time and I think that says a lot about the last race. It had figures to win last time, but it was just a matter of fact, look, none of those horses are going that good. So there's another little asterisk of why Tie Zone might not be a bet. He's the best run of a bad lot, I'd say, and you're saying it's not a vintage field, and maybe that brings Trekking. All of a sudden you've got a top weight that is finding a really shithouse field. But you got to look, I guess, down now at the 3-year-olds. So, I'm probably saying Victor M can't win. I think there's, the 3-year-olds have got more upside. I love the winner, Dawn Passage. I think the horse is just a fighter. Barrier 23 is I'm glad James is riding it, not myself, because he's damned if he do and damned. But I like the horse on the backup.
So
he does look suited and it looks like a horse that could handle it. Typical Gay. I thought Hightail, I've got notes from Hightail in the Magic Millions race, and to my eye that day, he looked like he wanted a bigger track. He's a horse that would do a lot better on a Randwick or an Eagle Farm or a Flemington track, in my opinion. But oddly enough, he's spent most of his racing around the tighter circuits like Caulfield, Moonee Valley, Rose Hill, Gosford, Wyong, Kensington, Gold Coast. So for me, I think this horse is a big improver. I looked at the price, $11, and I thought that was sort of as short as you could get at the moment, and I'd need to see more. The races run before I could sort of come into him. But I like the horse, and I like the setup at a big track. Like, perfect. 2 starts at 1,200, now he gets to 1,400 on a big track.
Okay.
That's sort of up my alley.
Yeah, no knock from me. I was actually on him to beat Alligator Blood and laid Alligator Blood in the 3-year-old guineas. I'll eventually be proved right when Alligator Blood's disqualified, but it won't help me bet fair balance. I like the horse. I do. I like it. I thought it was a good fighting win the other day. I think you're right talking about the track. Not only does it get a big track here, but it doesn't have to get back to last and try and round them up from the gate. It gets a much nicer run in transit from the gate. Definite winning chance. Like, definitely, certainly have Dawn Passage as a winning chance. I certainly have Bams on Fire as a winning chance, and I've got the and Exhilarates as well. All as winning chances. They just bring some upside.
Yeah, with Exhilarates, I've got a lot of time for Phil. I don't think she's a star. I'm just slightly concerned with the 1,400, like, out to a big track. That's the only negative that I can find. I'm not absolutely convinced she runs a strong 1,400, but I could be wrong.
Well, look, I suppose you asked the question of whether it was Dawn Passage was there to be beaten the other day. I don't know whether it's hard to say. I think Dawn Passage is just better. It's a better run. I think it's a better horse. She has won a Magic Millions 2-year-old on the 7-day backup, this horse, whatever that means for people that look for those lines, form lines. She's chased Hightail home a couple of times now. And, there's not much between them sort of on exposed form, probably. Same again. It gets a nice run in transit. Looks to be able to get to right parts, to where they want to be in the straight to give it every chance to win. And has it got the killer blow at the end of a 1,400 metre race is the big question mark for mine as well. It's got to have that. It's got to have that knockout blow. We've seen it. You see it, every time with these bigger races. It's just that horse that can cop that better tempo and then still have the ability to really, deliver that knockout blow. The last furlong is important. Don't know whether she's the horse, but she's definitely going to be there to, look, definitely a winning home, for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably lean the way of Hightail, just based on what you said. I think it's the one that could savage a line a little bit more. So let's just, it's obviously a big week. We're flying you down. Yep. You've got, so from the mailbag customers, you're going to do Toowoomba Friday.
Yeah, so I've started doing Toowoomba, and I'll knock that. Obviously, we've done the main races for Eagle Farm. I'll have a good look through Toowoomba tomorrow. Early bets will be sent for the Toowoomba meeting, whatever pops up, and then we'll just we'll go from there and work out whether it's a race by race or how we do it. But certainly covering the meeting, definitely. And then if there's anything out wide on Saturday, I'm still happy to send the plays for the provincial meeting Saturday is at the Gold Coast this week. So obviously I'm looking for a bet there for the Punters Club as well. So. And I won't discount Yeppoon either. I'm certainly looking to find a little bit of Yeppoon mail, and if we can get something, I'll pass it on. But yeah. And then
Curly and I have already gone through a few races at the Goldie. We'll send out a full set for all the mailbag guys on Saturday. We'll send out any early plays also for Eagle Farm. And so, no one's going to miss out on the main features. Jump into the Stratosphere. You'll see all the bets and all the action and all the commentary and the reasons why, and it should be an absolute hoot. And Curls, you're actually doing a little video preview on Eagle Farm for Betfair as well on Thursday night.
Yes, Thursday night.
VIPs only, though.
Oh, it is. I might have to live stream myself on Twitter or something. We've got the Betfair VIP Stradbroke launch, so looking forward to getting into the studios there, and I get to spin a bit of a yarn about how I found my way into professional punting. And yeah, I'm going to be joined there by a couple of other guys, and we're going to look at the meeting at the main races in particular. So that should be good. That'll keep me off the beers anyway. So if nothing else, that's a positive. I don't want to be over racing early.
No account of that. All right. Hopefully, once you get famous, you'll have to remember that you kicked off on the Wednesday or Thursday preview show with the mailbag. Once you make it to Sky Channel or Racing.com or one of those big media outlets.
I'm pretty sure after my performance on the last Little Birdie Punters Club that neither commercial racing station of Racing.com or Sky would want me on air, I wouldn't have thought. But I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing here. And there's way too much. I'm getting way too much airtime now, so I'm looking forward to handing the crown over to one of my teammates on Saturday after a big display from one of you other blokes.
Can't wait for the costumes. Can't wait to see you in the flesh. Have a couple of beers and a feed on Thursday night, and hopefully we can finish in front of Tristan on Saturday. And hope everyone can have a fill up on Group 1, Stradbroke and JJ Atkins Day. Thanks, girls. Can't wait to see you.
Thanks again. See you soon.
See you, bud.